Good afternoon once again. Welcome to Bangsar Hillpark with our panel discussion this afternoon, top property picks for families and investment. So alongside with me, of course before that, let me introduce myself first and of course our speakers for today. My name is Vivian and I am the host for this afternoon. It's a pleasure meeting all of you here. Next to me here, we have a very famous YouTuber.
Don't like that, please.
He is none other than Shantan Iherng.
Yeah, hi guys.
And we also do have a mortgage specialist. We have Rena Chong. Let's welcome Rena as well. So I think today's session, let's not make it too serious, too rigid a little, because I know you guys are here, you have a lot of burning questions. You guys have a lot of questions. You want our experts to share their point of view with you all here as well. So whenever as a GA you have questions, just raise your hand, okay? Or even just shout it out. We're trying to catch your questions, okay? Or, if there's none, we can start it off a little with Iherng and of course with Rena. So Rena basically will be covering, as a mortgage specialist, she will be covering a lot about loans and any expats here? Any expats here? Or all local? All local. All local. Real? Any expats?
One very shy.
Oh, one very shy. Yeah, because we have Rena here, Rena can actually share a bit more on MMTH here. Maybe in terms of, I think in Iherng's point of view, because Iherng has been doing a lot of surveys, things like that. So in a property investor's point of view, you guys want to know this. What do you see in Bangsar Hillpark? Perhaps let's go in this general point of view first. What do you see in Bangsar Hillpark that you can share with us today?
It's one of the first projects that spearhead the entire revitalization of the location. So back then, 4 years ago, how they started the project was a big debate, right? They need to torn down some old buildings, right? I am a fan of that, because I like redevelopments, right? That's how you will revitalize a new location. So they kind of sort out this front part of the address, but the back part is where you have the BSC area and the other central, where it's also coming up very strong. Then, if you look around right now, 4 years later, I think 3 or 4 years later when I covered the video, I was right where you have a lot more, like KL City is now more completed. Competitors are also coming out with brand new, like the Federal Hill project, you have the Tân Long project, right? Just by changing language, not going to help lah. I'm trying to be very diplomatic here, okay? But it means that a lot of movements are coming back to the market. So when they kind of launched and they were hit by COVID, unfortunately, so if you bought during that time, they're very good lah, because now the price also corrected a lot back already, right? So very interesting project. Okay, let's go a bit nerd lah. From a project point of view, then you can see this very rare layout for a residential project, where it's like a hotel. This core centralized. How do I make this not architecture? All your lifts in the center and all your units are all surrounding the lift. So it's very efficient. It's just like a hotel, not the long type of condo that we know. So the entire experience of the layout will be very different. You have more openings when you go into the unit. But only now I'm wondering on how the corridor will feel like when you come up to the unit, to your floor plan, to your unit. So that's the only part where I don't see yet lah. But it becomes very interesting lah. So that's the initial part, but it's right opposite Telawi, everybody know. There are also some debate about how Telawi is now. That one also, I don't know, I got no life. Right? So my life is in front of the desk only, so I have no clue about that. Why you look at me like that? Really, ma?
I thought your life is surrounding all properties. How could it just be in front of the desk?
No life one, it's property, come back. Property, come back.
Property, come back. Yeah, so speaking about that, because I think what we can highlight here is there's only 8 units at the moment, okay, for Talisa. There's only 8 units per floor. So I think it's a good thing. Once you're up into your floor, immediately you go back to your unit. You don't have to walk very far. Like hotels, you have to walk all the way down to the corridor. It takes a while to reach your unit. So it could really save a lot of time for us as well. It's more convenient in a way. Yeah. And speaking about that redevelopment, yes, definitely this part, Bangsar is not a new township. definitely. So it has to, go through a little bit of redevelopment so that we can have this new place as well. There's a little bit of redevelopment. If you see the whole master plan, of course, you want to have a closer. We do have the master plan on the other side. So other than this, what else, sparks your interest as well? You mentioned about redevelopment, and of course you mentioned about for this project, for Talisa, for Bangsar Hillpark, you like about this, there's 8 units, it's close to it, and it doesn't really feel like a hotel.
Yeah. So for own stay, if you can afford, very good right? Up to you right? I'm not here to judge but from an investment point of view, I will just fall back to numbers. This project compared to the others, like now it's about 950, 980. I cannot really say the price because it's all on video. But yeah, it's about 1,000 per square feet, I think. Then you look around at this price range, what else is available at this proximity to commercial areas, LRTs and things like that. Then you look into the rental rates. Some people is happy with 6%, some people 6%. I might as well buy Bitcoin, right? So entirely up to you. So I just fill up my own. You got promo code? No, just kidding. So what I'm trying to say is the good thing about being in a mature township is all datas are available. And you ask a lot of uncle auntie, right, who are around the area, everybody knows the road more familiar than the developer itself. But it's an area where if you ask locals also, they're not happy. When they buy at 1992, the time was 181,000 for a terrace house. Now they complain about the sewer they complain about the water Very old problem for that area. So when you have new developments like this, it's always good. Yeah, so I think from an investment point of view, it's easier to guesstimate your returns if you buy in a matured area compared to a non-matured area. Nothing much to guess actually. You already know opposite rent how much, you can already know 3 years later what's your rent's going to be like. Are you okay with that rent? So it's a very informed decision.
Can I also ask, in terms of investor, is it all just about numbers? Do we just care about numbers, or do we also look into amenities, facilities? Are these also important point to pick that property?
Yes, but roughly, so how do I say this? Again, okay, so let's say if neighbor is going for 3,000 for a studio around the area. Yours is also a studio. And you base I always come from a point of view of the tenant. Then 3,000 you want to ask 3,500 because newer, like why, right? Or that's distance to LRT, but no swimming pool at the rooftop. Yeah, so based on their company, last time we do a lot of, for those who are more familiar with the channel, then I do weekly up to bi-weekly deep research about projects and comparison of addresses. And we found out that projects with rooftop pools usually fetch 12 to 18% higher in rent. Very interesting. I don't believe that one last time until I see the numbers, right? Then your gym equipment, people now, hopefully it's because of me, they know that what kind of brand in the gym equipment tells a lot about a developer. Because if it's done up by the brand that furnished Babel, then whoa. Then if it's just some taplang one, then you know what is going on already. So all those things matters only if the rough price is making sense. Like if you 3,000, here 2,008, but got this. So when you invest, of course there will be this inflation that you need to look forward in your calculation. Then how much you think inflation is going to be, that's up to you. That one, how I wish I know, if not, then I need to stand here work a deal today. So if I can get that numbers really right, if it's 6% or if it's 8% year on year, you put forward. So that's why I think it's a very, very certain. So it's not going to be definitely cheap in this kind of context because everything around is already established. If you buy a new project in the middle of nowhere, then got a bit tikam. Don't know you kena or not, no kena or not. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, feel free to chip in, Otherwise, we would want to make it as conversational as possible. You guys have any questions?
You can go also very personal. I don't mind if you have a very personal pain point. I want to make money next year. You ask me then good luck. I don't want to say that. But I think because this is very rare, and I appreciate that they also bring us together. Tap on her brain because she's very busy. So I purposely put her here so I can talk to her also. Yeah, so I think take this opportunity, don't be shy, but ask anything at all, anything.
Maybe we will let Rena to share some insights as well. Yeah, while you guys are figuring your questions out. Okay. We will have 1.5 hours, so please feel free, okay, anytime, just let us know your questions. Yeah, maybe Rena, you can also start off by also sharing with us, is there any financing options, any key financing options at the moment for us to apply, for people who are interested that you can share with?
First of all, when we talk about value, right? So I'm not sure about this project, how much is the selling price as well right now. So like Sean mentioned, maybe it's at 900 plus PSF, things like that.
Let's keep it as a medium price, 1,000 per square meter, a median price.
So you see, when the bank actually value the property, first of all, we will value what is the area in terms of PSF. So let's look into Bangsar. First of all, you will need to know, are you actually buying at the median PSF, average, that belongs to this area selling price, or are you buying below the median price? But banks don't really work whether you are buying at the right pricing or not. First of all, they look at apple and apple comparison, orange and with orange. So a two-bedder here, how much is the value when it comes to generally all the two-bedder in Bangsar? And let's say another one, three-bedder average, what's the PSF here? So I give a latest valuation that I done recently opposite this project. Start with alphabet E, end with T. Okay, so that one is a value about 1,300 PSF at this moment. But you need to think about it. When the bank actually value the property in this area or this project or this property, right? It also depends on the bank guideline itself. First one, for example, let's say Bank Harimau lah. Okay, I'm not sure how many experts here, but if you know Bank Harimau, then you should know what bank is that, okay? So, Bank Harimau, first of all, today, when they value your property, especially when it comes to sub-sale or completed project, they will first look at this area, for example, Bangsar. Bangsar itself already got a dedicated valuer that I today, as a banker, I need to use it or adhere to. So let's say got 5 valuer, then I need to check if this 5 valuer, what are the current PSF that this valuer able to give. Point number 2 here is that, for example, if let's say today you go into Bank Sotong, okay, it's also local Malaysia bank, but Bank Sotong today, they value your property. First of all, they look at what is your surname, your first alphabet of your surname. For example, today Sean Tan, start with alphabet T. So I will have to search for a list of alphabet T valuer in order for me to check the value. So you see, when it comes to valuation checking set by the bank, it's quite very to compare bank by bank. So if let's say today, Bank Harimau not able to support the valuation, doesn't mean Bank Sotong not able to support it. But today, if you look at Bangsar itself, average today completed or sub-sale is at a range of 1,001 to 1,003 PSF. If today you're able to hunt something in this location where actually lower than what the bank value, then you do a little bit of justification yourself lah.
That sounds like a buy call. Hey, opposite 1,003, here 1,000, you don't buy
Yeah.
So in terms of like financing wise, is there anything that maybe we can share a little bit about, because we have a little bit of expat here, that for expat, what are the options that they can choose for maybe a long-term plan, something like that?
So first of all, I think expat or foreigner working or staying permanently in Malaysia, you have to categorize yourself today which category of foreigner you belongs to. In a simple term, normally how I was categorize it here is that our nearest neighbor, which is Singaporean, Bruneian, this I would say the first category. If let's say today you are purchasing property in Malaysia, you get a certain of very unfair advantage. Reason being because the bank in Malaysia love these 2 category of foreigner, especially Singaporean. So you see, Malaysian buying property in Malaysia, your first and second residential, you're able to get 90% loan. Then your third one is 70%. Today, if you are Singaporean, assuming today you are buying your first property in Malaysia, have a guess, what are the margin of finance they able to give you today, roughly lah?
Tell us your answer.
What do you guys think?
105.
100, wow, better than Malaysia.
Any more? Yeah, just make a wild guess, come on.
No.
80. 80,
Correct.
85.
So 80 to 85 is the general terms of rule apply to majority of bank in Malaysia today. If let's say today a Singaporean purchasing your first residential property in Malaysia, you will be able to get as high as 80 to 85% margin. But today, there's one bank, foreign bank lah, Singaporean bank also lah. Start with alphabet O ah.
No, you shouldn't say like that. You want to know more, follow my step.
I knew that you're going to insert that. I knew you're going to insert that.
So that one will be give you as high as 90%. So you see, other than this category of Singaporean and Bruneian, for other than this, if you're purchasing property, residential property in Malaysia, is maybe we are looking at 50 to 70% margin of finance only. Yeah. So that's an unfair advantage when I talk about if let's say today you are fall under this category. But of course, the second thing which brings us to the second one is, are you purchasing property here for investment point of view or own stay? So if let's say own stay, because another thing here is that you will need to be permanently, legally stay in Malaysia. You can't be like, I chop in 30 days and I go out again 30 days, I fly back to, okay, I'm not referring to someone here, okay? But in order for you to stay permanently, legally, of course, it brings us to the next one, which is the current MM2H. So, but of course, MM2H is totally another thing, because especially with the reason of MM2H revised 2024, it categorized into 3 categories. You have the silver, gold, platinum, things like that. So the silver one start with USD 150, followed by the gold USD 300, and then the platinum USD 1 million. So this MM2H will enable you to stay legally and permanently in Malaysia. But of course, there's another advantage. If let's say today your another half spouse is Malaysian, you'll be able to stay here just by using a spouse visa lah. In this case, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure there's a lot more to cover for MM2H. I think it really depends on your reaction lah. Are you guys keen to know more or to hear more about this MM2H? And then that's where it gives the motivation for Rina to continue this conversation. Yeah, so of course, do let us know. Is there any questions at this moment? Anyone?
No slides on, Just in case you're wondering, Sean will present what top 5 property to buy. No, no such thing one. Don't. When is he going to present this slide? No slide one.
Even though the topic is called top property, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe let's go in another point of view. So let me help you, since there's no slide. I understand this. In your point of view, what would you use as a guideline for you to pick for property investment? Is this better for you guys? Yeah, I've been seeing some nodding heads.
Guidelines. I think I've covered this quite extensively in the channel. So it's first of all 4 basic steps. I think let's start from there. Okay? I kind of created it, so I try to trademark it, but my copywriter says that I'm crazy. You cannot copyright a formula like that. So I think the first one is to get your intention right. Are you buying this for own stay or are you buying this for investment? Because the entire school of thought of consideration is very different. But there's one more category, but not yet this level, where people buy to show off. So that's the other category. The second thing to consider is your affordability. Can you afford? So this is where Rina comes into play. Like, are you buying this at 90% or 70%, or this is your second property, or this is your 17th property? Very different considerations. The third one then, compare this particular project with 20 other projects around the same category or the same intention or the same location. Depends how you do it. If you don't know what you kind of like yet, cover different range. And this will be very interesting also here. So if you buy the larger unit, does it make sense that you buy a townhouse around the area or you buy a large unit here? One sub-sale, one in the sky 4 years later or 3 years later. Very cool consideration, right? Then the last one is to make that informed decision and take that calculated risk. So don't be surprised when you collect the key. Why my unit like that? Why the rental cannot cover? Bro, you buy 3 years ago, you're supposed to know already. Right? So it's not a surprise kind of thing. So this is where a lot of people will be caught off guard, because Malaysians, they buy properties still it could feel, right? Not like Singaporeans. Like we just came back from Singapore. We had a talk there, and every investor there numbers to 2 decimal. What's your return like? About 6 or 5.89? 6 lah! 5.89 is not 6, Right, okay, very good. But we also chincai a bit, Malaysians must still being Malaysian. And when they do everything also based on the newspaper say this, government announced this, Malaysia side announced this, that's why we do this. Malaysia one, take it with a grain of salt lah, right? As Malaysian, I don't really also trust whatever that's written in the papers. Look at our MRT, right? so all these you need to take into consideration when you do step 4. So when you consider projects, now everything is online, then now you have a guy on YouTube cover a lot of different projects, so you don't have to leave the house also. Then only to drill down a little bit more on the 20 different type of properties that you should visit. New, old, landed, high-rise, big, small, far, near. Then you will know the sensitivity to price. Now if you are your first property, anybody haven't buy property here? Okay welcome to the world. Because on Singapore, the other side, like got one time I asked, I thought every Singaporean will buy HDB and no leh. Everyone here more than one property. It was an 800 people event. Everybody raised their hand. Okay, my fault. I need to ask a different question. So now if I tell you 1,000 per square feet, right? No sense one. What does 1,000 per square feet mean? Right, 1,000 square feet means, is it a semi-D? Also 1,000 per square feet ma? But it's 3.6 million right? So all this kind of thing you need to really have more in-depth about the subject before you make the decision. Not like last time. I think this is like maybe you guys punya grandfather age my father's age got age gap. Okay, so they all chincai buy will still make money one. No more the case already. Now it's no longer the case. So unfortunately, but then we have all data available online. So not a buy call. Yeah, so that is how I will evaluate projects after project. So if you want to go more in depth, right? So sometimes when you ask like, so this project, okay, let's ask the question, this project can buy or not?
What do you guys think?
So the only difference is between what you have on your plate for consideration versus mine. Like now, I was blaming her for the entire week because I was booked a project in JB. She said, oh, other people take already. So I'm not happy for her for a whole week. And I paid booking already at 2 a.m. She said no stop. So this is also the insight where a lot of people don't get to see. If you think this is another true realm where if you think property market now very good or you think property is terrible, you are both right. It depends where you are in and which circle you are in. Because in my world, I need to make sure she's happy, so she let me buy the unit. You get what I mean? So I'm fighting for units to buy. So, the different world. Then on this side, you have a lot of agents. Hey bro, come on lah bro, yam cha lah bro. So that's the difference between seasoned investors versus first-time home buyers. The goal then is to move yourself over to the other side, as close as possible to the source of all the information. Wow. For this one can turn into a 1-hour lecture, I know. If you don't want to ask any more questions. Yeah.
Today's crowd, seems a little bit
shy one. It's okay one.
It's okay, yeah.
Like?
Is it fair to ask which one you put your 2 a.m. booking to?
Oh, cannot? You got Yeah. So it's a project in JB that was ready built. Then so this is somewhat like a distress sale as well. So there will be 4 different buying channels in Malaysia for those who are first timers, right? You can buy new directly from the developer. You can buy from the market, right? So that's sub-sale. When people cannot pay in time, there will be auction units. Then there are also bulk purchases. To me, I don't judge one. My goal is to buy the cheapest project in the market, whichever channel. Then it also boils down to whether you got capital or you got no capital. No capital, buy new lor, right? No choice lah. But if you got capital, the gameplay is very different. You are not as desperate. You're on the bargaining side of things. So that would be very fun. That's why I save money this Christmas. Don't overspend. Yeah, so these are the different things that I'm looking at. And then also, just now when I was talking to some of you all, like this project was around the market for very long already. But if you look into the pricing dynamics in accordance to situation, change a little bit. When you buy also makes sense. Like the project that I bought in Bukit Jalil right now, they're moving in, right? I bought the first release of COVID. First time the government let people, it's PKP, I also forgot what's the term already, right? The first thing everybody go and buy grocer, go and eat restaurant, right? I go and buy property. The first thing I go and buy property already. So that time, nobody there to go into sales gallery also. So the sales staff sees me with open arms. Wow, never see a living creature before. Wow, come in, I should buy the property. And now, same location, made a lot of money. Just because the mode of the market is very different. Now, in a very long time, not very long time, I've been in this industry. I bought my first property in 22. It's about 13 years, 14 years really, right? First time I think people are positive about Malaysian market for the very first time. What do you think of the market? Not bad, FDI very good. I don't know whether it's in the media or not, but a lot of investors are actually coming in, especially JB. Now Penang also very hot because of the train. Then KL all the while hot, right? So my greatest fear now for people who are sitting here is, I want to buy now. When's the right time to buy, right? Technically it's 3 years ago, but the thing is now we are in this still oversupply situation, but if you look into NAPIC data, we are going to be one of the highest, if not the second highest transaction year for the past 15 to 20 years. Never before. And if US, Trump just won, for those who don't know, they're going to drop interest rate. If they drop, Singapore will drop interest rate. If they drop, we adjust a little bit downwards. What will happen to our property market? Now it's already like crazy desperate. You see our overhang numbers is dropping drastically. And media is the best indicator. How I see is for the past, last time was 6 months, now it's about 9 months already. No people talk about oversupply anymore. Last time it was overhang, oversupply, property gone case in Malaysia, very bad, this joker here tell everybody to buy. Then suddenly now I become a genius. So that indicates the movement forward. But when it gets too hot, everybody will have kiasu one. It becomes like not based on data anymore, based on because my relative buy, so I buy. That's my greatest fear, because I was one of them. So those are the considerations that I would pick a lot. And again, are you going to stop me?
I see that you're talking a lot, very very into it. But I actually have a few questions while you're actually talking. So I like, okay, let you finish first.
So those are the things that I will consider a lot. But just that is why I have 1,100 plus videos on the channel for 7 years, right? Still haven't finished. I still haven't finished talking about what are the considerations for a property buying.
Later, maybe we have time. You can continue towards this.
Yeah.
So I mean, you mentioned that like now it's positive lah. The outlook is positive right now. So let's hit back a little, because you said KL is always popular. And Bangsar, it's not a new township, right? Bangsar is definitely not a new one. So for such a mature township, is there any, in terms of like, let's say people want to stay, or investors want to come in, like what are their concerns, or what are things that they should look out to? Is it because it's near to, it's very near to the LRT station, 400 meters only, guys, 400 meters, about 10 minutes to walk around there. And then, like you said, all around is everywhere lah. You ask the auntie, uncle, everywhere, they already know a lot of things. They have food there, you have the malls there, you have hospitals, schools, you name it, you can have it there, all around there. So what makes it like a good choice, if you were to think about it?
Good choice. I thought bad choice just now you were saying. Let's stick with the bad choice, okay? I think when you have everything matured, you have everything sorted out, you have everything built, not cheap compared to a lot of other proposed MRT next to it, walking distance, right? That's like the remaining 50 other projects in KL, right? All same punchline, 15 minutes to KLCC. I don't know how they calculate one. Yeah, but this particular position of project is our tap on KL Central, our tap on KL Eco City, our tap on Bangsar. So it's a very mix. So how I determine a good, this is falling to the pros really, FYI. So what I like about this project is it provides multiple rental options. How do I consider good property for investment? Is when I have multiple rental options. Will people rent for own stay or not? God. Will people want to rent temporarily because they are sent to KL Central to work for 2 years? God. Will there be students who studies around but parents very loaded? God. Got people who want to go Airbnb here because of Telawi, because of all the Bangsar malls and things like that. God. So when I consider property, I will have 3 to 4 different options just to break even on my installment. Okay, so this is not knocking on other projects, but a lot, their first choice and only choice is short-term stay. They're not very good, right, in terms of that one. So the risk will be higher, but this one then will be more certain. You have berbagai different jenis tenant outside.
Well, thank you for pointing out. Of course, we know the reality there as well of this project, and of course the good side lah. The good side of this project here as well. I think I remembered in one of the videos that you have actually made in the past. I'm not sure whether it's still relevant in the choice of making this. Maybe you can share your thoughts again. I think you mentioned about in choosing property, you said if the proximity area there's this fast food chain restaurant that we all love, McDonald's. Yeah, it's definitely a good pick. So is it still valid?
Hot soup, this one.
Because we know,
this one, Kota Baru one just closed. I think in the international, that brings us to a different point, a very good point. When we invest in her company, also we look at international market versus local race-oriented markets. Okay, there are different addresses where when I say Klang, right, which part of Klang, then it will be, this is Chinese area, this is Indian area, this is Malay area, right? Like Shah Alam. Malay area, right? Bangsar, what area? Don't know, No, rich man area. So, people all forget that wealth is the biggest discrimination. And the more international you go, as an investor, I will be more prone to invest in these kind of locations. So, in compared to race-oriented one, like Cheras or Chinese and all, right? So, your options to kind of convert the unit later will be very different. Like if you look into all the great areas that we all love, right? Like TTDI, Mont Kiara, Hartamas, right? Bangsar. Why? Richmond area. Not single race-oriented area. So again, that ties back to the multiple rental options. When you have international crowds, the different mix will have. Yeah.
So there's something where we can of course expect here for the surrounding. Of course, this is Bangsar and stuff like that. Okay. And in terms of, we covered quite a few. I think let's hear a little bit from.
You're so free Rina. Here, nothing to do.
Yeah, Rina is very free. Yeah. So any questions for Rina? By the way, because just now we have one audience have questions for Sean, for iherng. Everyone's pretty good with your mortgage, with getting loans, no problem. Sure can get one.
I'm very kind at you. You're very kind, Like my other events is I wait up. You don't I wait up. You wait it out, That's why our event 6 hours.
No wonder. I was thinking, how did it go 6 hours?
But I think this will get me into trouble. But I think if there is personal questions which I appreciate a little bit more, you have very selfish questions you want to ask yourself. Like previously there have been some repeat audience here asking about renovation, my 17 property, really one. Then watch to buy now. Everything can. Why you laugh so loud? So yeah, I think those will be more helpful. Instead, no need to be so tied to the project. I know that's the official. That's why I'm going to get into trouble. You won't see me again, I think. but I just want to make the full use of everybody's Sunday evening. You guys got way better things to do, and I should have been in Hai Di Lao already. No, I don't eat a lot of that. But yeah, you get my point. So let's make this session a little bit more beneficial.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
So just now, you said about Bangsar, the price per square feet is around like 1,000 to 1,003, like that, right? I would just like to know, what's the, future potential of it to grow even higher? If let's say like the price per square feet right now is already 1,000 to 1,003, could it still go up higher? Because if you go much higher, the target audience will usually be expats or international people, but locals won't really pursue this kind of high price per square feet lah. So how much more higher will it go?
Wow.
Will it have a future potential because it's already that high already?
That's a good one.
If I know, I buy one floor. But okay, so I think before I answer that, right, I've made a decision.
Oh, by the way, there's a goodies. Whoever asks a question, some incentive right now already.
Then later we got lucky draw. No, I just say only. Don't have one. Everybody suddenly, got. I went to Alostar. Then I went to Malacca, I went to a lot of different areas in Malaysia, and I noticed, right, KL's property is very cheap. KK, Kota Kinabalu, the project that I've just went, 1,000 per square feet. Alostar, the bungalow is 3.9 million. Alostar, not nothing against Alostar. I'm just saying that it's very far from KL City lah. Then I go to Penang, 1,000 per square feet. Go to Kuching, worse. 1,000 per square feet. I need to check whether the boss wants to sell to you or not. Wow, what's your last surname? If you're from certain families, you got certain privileges. Wow. After I understand that, right, it all boils down to demand and supply. And when banks already officially give 1,003, and banks have a bunch of actuaries calculating all the risks, whether to give such loan or not, because they worry you cannot pay back, they also give 1,003, right? I think it's good enough already. So, how I gauge myself whether I can afford this property or not, if the bank say yes, I buy one. Because they have full confidence I can afford, that's how I gauge. My wife disagree lah. But that's how chiong I am with property investment. But coming back to this is, now at 1,000 per square feet, if you can still get 6% in rental return, I still think it's under price. That's how I gauge that. Meaning at this price, you can still make money from yield, not high enough. Because as a developer, I don't know this, okay, the staff again will get fired, I don't know. Last time when I was selling a property, I used to work in a property developer company. I sold out the project. Then I wear nice, because my Tan Sri wants to see me. I wear suit or go and comb hair, right? Go to the room and kena ni. Why are you giving my property out for free? Sold out is not a good thing from a developer point of view. What's the right price range? Is, if this one cheaper a little bit, then I will buy lah. That's the right price range. Because guess what? Property, right? The main characteristic is finite one. Marof one only. There's only one Jalan Marof. Now you have Lorong Marof lah, different lah. But you get my point. Is there going to be another location like Bangsar, Telawi? No more. So how much are you willing to pay to be in that location? A lot of people will say that, oh, this is Saraman, so much land, Malacca, so much land, not KL Central, That's the main point where property will go in moving forward. And I made a post about it. Divorce rate going up. 2022 is a 43% increase. Less people getting married. So does it mean that all mega bungalows or semi-these big houses around the outskirts, no people want already? Because no offspring already, right? No children, nothing. Why so big house or what? Clean, right? So will everybody just move back to the city and live, just like Tokyo? So the aging population is also another thing. Japan is aging. Oh, property price will collapse. You look at Tokyo price. It went up higher because more people will actually prioritize convenience. If you really understand all these kind of dynamics, and if as a fresh grad in Malaysia, I just graduate any university, where do I look for work? Here also, So those are, again, I don't eat good feel one. I look at all this statistical data to make sure that I won't convince myself whether is this a good buy or not. So 1,000 square feet, good or not? When neighbor is 1,003, before I put the booking, I will ask why lah. Why there 1,003 sold out? Why here 1,000? Why? Then only I will make sure it will go. Not necessarily if it's below or within the median price, then it's the best. Not necessarily, because sometimes the most expensive one sell out first one. When I buy Bukit Jalil, my project was the highest. I was an idiot, based on the comment section, not myself. So when I bought the project, at COVID time you buy such high price, you will sure lose money one. You will kena lah this time. We will wait. I also wait. That's why I print screen all the comment section. And I know everybody who sent me the email lah. So not free like you know, one by one. Hello. So then now it's 1,000 per square feet. So when Bukit Jalil is 1,000 per square feet, where Bangsar should be higher or lower? I don't know. Right? So it's really based on what you think of a location. So datas are datas, your interpretation. From a person, let's say if your parents live already in Bangsar, have a double, the townhouse there or a landed product there, right? You will have this romantic attachment to it one. then it will drive your buying impulse more. But from a person who never goes to Bangsar, whatever lah. So will it go up or not? Bank says will lah. Bank say not I say lah. Bank says will lah, based on valuation lah. So again, valuation say yes. Rental return says yes. Sean Tan don't know. So see how you look at it lah.
Do you have any properties in Bangsar?
Lie.
Don't have. Okay, again, why, right? Why don't have Bangsar? Because what are available? What is available here? A lot, man. You think about it, lah. I'll come to you, Save me. But okay, so it's based on, again, just now back to the point where if you ask about Dutamas, if you ask about Mont Kiara, you ask about all these kind of locations, I got a lot lah. Not a lot lah, right? Like that lah, right? I got lah. If I still want to take loan, I cannot tell you how many I have because got bankers all keep eyeing. She also don't know the whole full picture, but yeah lah, just to give her enough information to qualify for my loan. Malaysian all like that one. Why I don't have? Because really it's beyond my affordability. That's the honest truth. It's not a level where a freshie can afford. So a freshie goes to Puchong first. I built from there. Yeah, built from that then until when you see potential. So this is when, okay, this is a nice segue lah. To me, there's two ways of investing. One is investing when you don't have money. One is invest when you have a lot of money. A better example is now I got no money, I want to build wealth using property investment. Okay, so I see my salary 6,000, 7,000 cap, I see what I can afford. I build from there. But if I got 20 million in the bank, do I want to start from Puchong or not? Yeah, so I am the first one lah. Too bad lah, my father, different family. So different surname, same surname, different family. We are Tan very common. That's the reason why I don't have a unit in Bangsar. But is it, I won't complain lah. So what I usually do is I lowball offer, a lot of people don't like me, man. I go and lowball offer all the townhouses. You know townhouses around Bangsar? I go and lowball, so now it's about 1.6 to 1.8 ma. Uncle 1.2 you want to sell or not? Go fly kite lah you. Yeah, go eat Indian rice. That's what I do lah. Maybe one day one uncle say yes So now a very cool debate then it's all the landed ones feeling the pressure to move into high rise because all of them who stays here all atas one their children all not around. Then the big house, right, two old folks living. What for? They want to sell the house, downsize into a apartment. So this becomes a very appropriate comparison. But for me, then I cannot afford yet. I'm still positive lah. See how is the crypto market lah.
I want to know what is your thought process in investing in JB, specifically the unit you're trying to get.
Oh, okay. For those who don't know, the project that I was going to get in JB is a ready built one. Then it cannot sell for very long. Now desperate already, that's why I'm supposed to come in, right? And to make it interesting, because market value is this, the price I'm paying is this. So there will be a lot of cash out. And a lot of people then, okay, this is in Merdini. Now it's known as Iskandar Putri. I was pouring concrete when they built the theme park. That's how familiar I am with the location. No, what people know is theme park and very bad property market. But what people don't know is the rental rates around there is 3,008 for a 3-bedroom now. Merdini cannot lah. Means, in other words, right, I'll just be speaking to you lah, right? I buy now, I pay 0, get back money, rental can cover installment by about extra, let's not go into details, a lot. Then I still got money to do renovation, and I have extra cash for the next purchase. That's why I want it. And in a segment where now it's very low, when you talk about Merdini, people still, you won't buy there. Yeah, so now when people are still having a very negative stigma to the location compared to the main first bridge, JB, you have the RTS area where they're selling for 1,300 per square feet. Bangsar 1,000 cheap, no? You get what I mean? So when you go 1,003 there, here I'm paying less than half the price. getting double the size. And it can cover itself. Why not? For those who don't understand also, this is a good point. It's completed. Completed lets me roll the project way faster. If I buy today, 6 months, it depends how hard you push the lawyer lah. 4 to 6 months time, you get your keys, then you renovate with the makeover guys, use Sean Tan Makeover 22 promo code. So after you do the makeover, you rent out at month 7. Then next year, by January, I can buy a new unit ready because I can submit the 6 months rental statement as income. Instead of you buying new, you need to wait 3 to 4 years time where it eats up your DSR. So if you buy new project, right, for the next 3-4 years, have nothing to do, unless you make a lot of money lah. So that's the main difference why we seasoned investors, we prefer more on sub-sale or completed projects. Another cool thing, wow, I can go on and on. Wow, Sean talk a lot.
Yeah, we have a little time. Yeah.
Okay, so now what we are in our own small little circle, we are trying to target projects that's launched before COVID. Wow, kampanye. So, why? Construction costs has increased year on year about 28 to 32% on superstructure alone. Meaning anything above ground, 28 to 32%, that's certain already. So before COVID sell 1,000 and after COVID sell 1,000, how? Meaning either the developer very rich don't care about profit or they downplay the specs. So what we are actually looking at, the main difference, right? Anything pre-COVID launch that now still cannot sell those are great in terms of specification. Because for the same amount of tiles, last time 600 by 600,000, now can give 450,000 for the same price. Then a lot of renovators all call it quick, contractors all call it quick, cannot roll through COVID. Now you like my own unit, the unit that I'm renovating, 900 square feet I renovate with the makeover guys slowly, like really hold that handbrake and drive on, 100,000. I didn't see anything, and it's still open tab, haven't finished one. Imagine if it's a full-scale construction project. It's crazy. So a lot of people now, they think, why am I still so positive and bullish on property is I know construction costs, land costs, labor costs, inflation, everything is all eating up everything already. It's almost impossible to buy the same thing 3 years ago at the price before already. You know kanchong, I very kanchong. Right? So
that drop the phone again. Kanchong already.
Yeah. So that's my perception on. So as long as you buy the right one, but of course you buy the wrong one, it's the other way lah. But just to put it out there, yeah. So that is why I play JV instead of this one. But now, no stock. When I no stock, right, then I scratch my hand until I'm seriously looking for things to buy. I don't buy, I cannot sleep.
Sean, you're in a sales gallery.
We are all trained for that. Yeah. And that's where the 20 property visits come. I can repeat their entire sales pitch of this is the punchline, this is the punchline, this is the punchline. But again, when you see everything, you base on information, based on data, very hard to go wrong. Malaysia is still very hard to go wrong. And I must say, at 1,000 per square feet, a lot of value. Because when I go to KK, like that 1,000 per square feet, I come back, I should buy one. So I went Kuching, come back, I buy one. I go KK, come back, I buy one. Then I go where? I go Penang, then I come back, I buy another one. Not Bangsar but somewhere else Because I look at Mont Kiara price, look at Dutamas price, look at KL City price. Cheap But I'm going to get so much hate if this goes on social media. But if you look into price comparison, JB City Centre 1,003. Now the latest one is going next year is about 2,000 per square feet they want to sell. Okay?
The launch price.
Launch price. Discount cannot say lah. Then in Penang, the Reclaim Island, 1,003 to 1,004 per square feet. Kuching, 1,002 per square feet. City lah, right next to the river. Then KK next to the sea one is about 1,002 to 1,003 per square feet. We have KL Central, train, MRT, highway here, left, right, center. A lot of employment, a lot of people coming in. We complain. You get what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I look at it. And if you look into inflation also, I'm very scared. Okay, that one you can take over already because then we'll go into the crypto side of things already. So
And Thank you. Thank you very much, Sean.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a question?
So what do you think of the shop lot investment instead of all the condos and all that? What's the future of the shop lot?
I got money, I will buy. Such an easy answer, Sean. So now if you look into how developers acquire land, they buy a piece of land, they need to submit to the, wow, so good. Why I answer, I don't have one. So, when I want propose for a development, I will see high-rise, see landed, see shop lots, see malls, offices, right? The most direct, profitable thing right now is all condos. It also means that the number of shop lots is only going down. Shop lot, then it depends highly on whether is it new or existing. The investors I know all buy existing one. Because like I was around when Kota Kemuning, now very hot. Last time I was a kid, I very young only, I was a kid cycling around. So the earliest investor bought it and held it for past 13 years, cannot rent out. Then at year 14, year 15, suddenly boom, the cafe there, the burger shop there, I cannot say the name, suddenly that becomes so on. Wow! So for those uncle that I know sell at year 12, or but it means that if you got the capacity to hold that long, I will play shop lot. So that is where the difference of investment, if I got money, if now Sean I got 10 million, right? I will get Telawi corner lot, but they won't sell to you. Have you tried shopping before for shop lot? Very brutal one, right? Very so if you see the banner hang, too late already. So my father also owns one shop lot, not a lot. What he gets is daily calls from agents whether to sell or not. When you buy condo, it's all agents call you want to buy or not, huh? When you own a shop lot, it's different, huh? Hey, Mr. Tan, how are you? Eat ready or not? Your shop lot you want to sell or not? 2.1. Don't want lah, nothing to do lah. 2.1, like okay lah, 2.1. Tomorrow, 2.2. Check ready already. Are you interested? Actually, you think they got buyer, don't have one. But they get the interest to sell, then I go out and market ready. So this is what a lot of cash-rich business people like. Because the rental, they just based on scarcity, just based on pure scarcity. New townships are where got shop lot one. It's just based on scarcity anyway. And when you have an area that is so high in population, where they eat. An example of Bukit Jalil, for example. So there's like 10 new buildings coming up. If I got money, I will buy the shop lot. But too bad, no money. So why I resolve back to condos and service apartments is because I can play using bank's money. Total outcome 0 or very minimal, I hold for 30 years. But the shop lot, right? Things can also be very brutal where your local authority might just change the road orientation one. This is a case of my auntie. She buys the worst unit, the cheapest unit that she can afford. Means it's like 2 rows. Hers is the most bottom. Means people will all go to the last to see her. But suddenly local authority change the direction. All must go in the first row first. The center first, only you can turn like that. Suddenly her one is the most on one. So you believe luck or not? I don't know. I was also very scared. So suddenly, for those who paid almost double the price for the frontage one, lose money. But she puta, this is only one I can afford, I buy then make money. Got luck lah. So it depends. I have relatives who lose money on shop lots, but they don't mind losing money. It's for them, it's just diversifying their cash in a different form only. Means, when your company, I don't know what you all do, right? We first met, just for clarification, right? If you have 50 million in the bank, keep all in cash for what? Just exceed, put 20 million in assets, right? Then let it grow. Because when a different class of audience that I have is, they cannot sleep because a lot of cash. What a good problem to have. But if you think about it, at 50 million, you lose 6% every year. Can sleep? Cannot sleep one. And they buy car to write off tax one. It's a whole different category. If you are, I think just based on the question alone, this is the level that you have in understanding. A different world. So do I think shop lot? Yes. Then is it, the only safety factor is how much can you hold. And for shop lot, not a lot of people take loan one. Surprise! We all apply 6 different banks just to get 90% loan, right?
No, cannot 90 also.
Yeah, no lah. Yeah, but for shop lot then it's very different. Cash back now. 2.2, I'll write you a check later after when we eat mama. Check ready one. You want to sell or not? This is the world where a lot of people don't see. Got money also cannot buy one. Because if, like, think about it, why would somebody sell a shop lot that's money making? If I bought 10 years ago, then the rental is like double the installment, also no installment one. Why I want to sell? Every month shake 32,000, right? Why I want to sell? Unless the offer is too good. So it's very brutal. You don't know your numbers, right? But then if you buy new, then you're and then
It's really a whole different ball game.
yeah, you really don't know leh. Which next week I'm going to see a different guy. He talks about retail, and then maybe that one is that I also want to learn from him how you determine on what's the market rent and things like that. Why you rent don't buy. So a different category of thinking. Too much money cannot sleep. How I wish. But you just really just think about it, right? If you have 1 million, right, but next year you left 994,000 already. You don't do anything, 6% on a conservative mode, buying power the other way, kanchiong one. That's why I so kanchiong. Before the bull run actually kicks in, last time I see 400,000, now 1.2 million. Yeah, but I didn't buy. Then talk for what? Isn't that everybody's uncle?
Yeah.
Last time I did some Park City, 600,000 I didn't buy. It's crazy. Now 2.2 million. Yes.
I want to ask about the exit plan because everybody is talking about how to buy, where to buy, when to buy, right? So, especially for investor in property, so what would be the exit plan? I mean, apart from rental income, but that one mostly will be like covering your installment and also your maintenance fee, something like that. Maybe some little bit of positive cash flow. But in long term, what will be the exit plan? Because I personally, I myself, not the one who always love to live in an old condo. I actually change condo every 2 years, every 1 year. Yeah, I always looking for new. So I want to know.
I think this one Rena can chip in a little.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Rena can chip in a little for
Oh,
this
they
question.
chill there.
Yeah, I don't know what to
So
say.
free,
Sorry, I talk too much. Okay.
No. For me, I will answer this one in a point of course, loan related or financing. Then maybe Sean can add on a little bit on.
You also investor, ma.
Hey,
she got a lot of uni one, Don't act like I'm the only guy with a lot of property. She also got a lot.
No. So just to add on to the ladies, right? I do have another one, but it's another side, Bangsar South lah. Okay. So the exit plan, you see, why I encourage anyone here to have at least one house, at least one for the entire of your life or whatsoever, right? Let's not talk about exit. Let's talk about during the journey when you have one house, what you can do with that when you have a property. So first one is we never know that whether anything will happen to us if we need the money. So this will lead us to when you need money, you can cash out from your property. So that's why I started with why at least have one property at least for the entire of your life if you can. So you see, property for me is, I don't want to talk about investment or whatsoever, like ABCDE. Eventually it's just a tools for us to survive, especially during emergency if we can. So if let's say today I got emergency, I need money, 200,000 to support whatsoever, during my emergency. If I have a house, if I have property, I can always refinance, cash out from that property. So I think let's look into the trend of past 10 years, 15 years, every single year, easily 5 years, 5%?
4 lah.
4
3.8 to 4.2 lah, see how you want.
Maybe the past 5 years is a bit slow. Yeah, 2 to 4%. But if we were to look into like past 10 years historical, I think it's easily average at 5%, 4.5 to 5% gain. So, I mean, to answer your question, right, we can never predict the future. This area can, fast forward 5 years from right now, can pick up to 1,500 PSF. I don't think we can predict the future. But if you look at the historical data here, is that at least for the past 10 years, every year is steadily, I think 4.5 to 5% gain. So, I mean, to answer this lady question here is that if during emergency, I have got a tools, which is my property, I need the money, I can cash out. So if let's say, I think our parents' generation back then, if let's say that house back then is a 100,000, today, I think very easily that property today itself maybe is already 4 to 500,000 lah. Very unlikely whatsoever your parents bought back then 100,000, right now 50,000, right? No such thing, right? So I think property is a tool to actually to beat inflation. Is whenever you need the money, you can always cash out from that. So talk about refinance, right? If let's say that property today, back then you bought it 100,000. Today the bank valuation is 500,000. You can always refinance, cash out whatsoever the equity that you already bought. It depends on your current margin of finance. Let's say 70%, 80% from that. And this 200,000 to 300,000 is your money. So if you ask me today whether this is exit strategy or not, I will not say yes lah. But part of it, if you need that property, able to help you. So that's my point of view lah, a little bit on the exit part lah.
Diam-diam ubi berisi. This one is like, you know, quiet and then suddenly all the questions.
I need to think about it. Okay, so 3 ways to make money in property. One is capital appreciation, aka inflation. Second thing is rental yield. Every month cover installment, right? Third is when you collect the rental already, it's stuck there in the financing and it will knock off interest, so it will accumulate as well. Okay, so these are the main 3 ways to make money if you are holding a property. So just now you think that just by you moving around, who would want to buy my house later in the future? If you have a property that have a rent that can cover your installment by 500 every month, would you want to sell?
Thanks. Because 500 also won't make you rich, right?
Correct. You are right. You are right. So it depends on which year. So if every year extra 6,000 only you're not going to change my life right? But did you do anything? You just bought the right one, that's about it. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. What happened, right? So let's say 1 year 3% increment. 500,000 property would worth about 5.3 something. I don't have the exponential there. Some people go use the technical, right? Then the rental that you collected is actually accumulated into your housing loan. Then the rental collected can be declared as income to buy more. Okay, so as cool as we think that we move house means that the rental will drop. It then depends on where. Like if you look at Mont Kiara, will new projects fetch higher rent than the old one? Definitely. But they are sold at a different price to begin with. So not necessarily as there's new project ongoing, right? The old projects will suffer. Not necessarily. So a lot of people then compare like density. Old Klang Road, so many property, right? Who lives there?
Mont Kiara also a lot.
So if density is ever a problem, these locations would have failed first. But it's different. Exit strategy. How if I buy, who are the target audience who will buy a property? For example, the classic one, the unicorn of Malaysia, they start Park City. Last time 600,000, 400,000, why 2.2 million people still fight for it? I had an expat audience who came to the channel and buy cash one, and she's not the only one. She's not the only one. The Chinese lady. Everyday fine dining one. So you want to join me? Xiao. Right? So why would somebody want to pay so much more to live in a particular address? No more land. So the only way that landed properties appreciate in price is how much more another person is willing to pay to live in that address. So that's one theory. The other theory is then if it's an investment. If I can exit to you, like who wants a property where you buy immediately your rental cover installment? Everybody want one. So that's how you can sell higher as an investor. So imagine like now my Mont Kiara unit is about, not flexing, sorry, 6%. So I'm earning about 1,000 extra a month. So it means my property is undervalued by 200,000. I can sell 100,000 more to the next investor, and when he buy, he can still have his rent cover his installment. Everybody would line up to buy such property. Why would anybody want to sell? Just like to the shop slot story, it's the more obvious one, because condo still revenue in Malaysia. If it's making money, rental can cover every month a lot of money, why would anybody want to sell? Suddenly supply, right? A lot of units means not every unit is for sale, Those are the strategy. Then, this one a bit more personal, okay? Are you going to have children? I don't know, okay? I don't know her, okay? Not like I want to. Yeah, so this is lately I've been thinking a lot about a lot of divorce, a lot of singles, a lot of whatever, right? If there's no children, I buy property for what? I buy property for what? I rent kind already lor. That's why people like me, I want to buy 25 properties lor. Because I got children to pass on lah, and a lot of people would just want that temporary need. But to me, property investment wouldn't make sense if I need to cash buy one. Without the 90% leverage, right, property investment is a rather terrible investment. Now, when we have crypto and all, not supporting crypto, but make a lot of money, but so you get my point. My strategy is I will use my credit to buy properties, build my equity, right? Because use nothing, man. Then I use the capital I have to invest in things that requires capital, like stocks, bonds, gold, others, NFT, whatever, right? That's how you can start to see how people look property. No matter how bad the world change, right? Real estate is still there's a primary need of living. So until you're still very young, you still look very young, right? Until a day when you finally need that peace of mind. I don't want my landlord now, because now what's happening is that there's a lot of rental scams going on. A new tenant offers me 1,000 extra for the unit. I will rent him out. I will need to chase you out. I need to refund you whatever, right? Refund you, I immediately make money, right? Would you want to live in that kind of situation? Because Malaysia's tenancy rules not very favorable to tenants, right? Then when you reach a certain level of wealth already, you want to personalize your kitchen. That's what happened to my wife. Yeah, so I need to extend. So almost my entire house is the kitchen. Oh, extend. Then okay. Pay bill only. Yeah, so when that kind of.
You got a promo code, right?
I got no, but this is my own unit for what? I pay one. So when you reach that state, how you see real estate becomes very different. You get what I mean? So exit strategy, it's like the theory part of capital appreciation, sell higher, then when the money making asset everybody wants. And when you do this kind of thinking, it depends on where and what kind of property as well. Because I go and see a lot of those very mega mansion, 18 million, 27 million kind of properties. What cannot exit one? You own 27 million, like who's going to buy? So when you invest, like I'm a heavy believer, if I'm ever single again, not never gonna happen. Okay, just saying only, if. I invest where makes money one, and I rent where I want to stay one. I will rent all those 3-4 million kind of property where the rental is at 5,000, 6,000, but their money installment is 22,000 one. Those bleeding every month kind of properties, rent there. But then in like Cherasa, Imam Kara, my 800 square feet unit, people pay 5,500. Very good, man. I cannot afford to live in that kind of location, although it's my property lah. I cannot afford to live. You know, so that's the strategy that I will play with. If you are just worried about exit strategy, so buy what makes money, hold what makes money. Then living expenses, right, is expenses. Rent where is convenient. Not very cheap. Cheap then different. Okay, a lot.
Yeah,
Cover a lot of things.
I will you back. Yeah. So I think that explains your answer your question. Thank you.
Bro, you got a question, bro?
Yes, we have a question there.
Hey Sean, hey Rina. So I think my question sort of triangulates all the different points that you guys have been talking about, right? And you spoke about, new property, prices are going up, raw material are going up, it's getting more and more expensive. We talk about baseline salary here in Malaysia, it's not going up at the rate that property prices are going up. And then we talk about how the loan structure is in Malaysia compared to other countries, right? Like you said, you can almost buy property with zero money, right? So my question would be, seeing how people like us in this room today, how we are actually utilizing these, the way the loan facility is structured, to capitalize that, to use that to make more money, to build your wealth. Will that be like a so-called quote-unquote a due date where probably the government or someone steps in and say, hey look, the loan structure that we have today potentially is not working because it's being used for the wrong reasons. The loan structure today is essentially widening the gap between the poor and the rich. People buy house because they need a roof, and not to flip properties or to buy money down. And at the moment we are buying properties, 25, 30 years loan, right? And say if this decision comes, say 2 years down the road, what exactly happens? And then I would like to also draw parallels to, for example, the mortgage crisis in the US that took place in 28, 29, right? How people went bankrupt how banks went bankrupt. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on both the property side as well as the banking, the financial side, if something like this were to happen in Malaysia.
I still remember your name, Tiwaka, right? Thanks, Tiwaka, for your question.
You see, don't play with her. You ask crazy questions, she remembers you forever.
No lah. So, answer on the financing part a little bit, right? So you see, I think whatsoever that you bring up just now, it's about cooling measures. You see what Singapore side right now is doing is they got ABS, the additional stamp buying duty, things like that. So whereas in Malaysia, so far I don't see this thing. In fact, I think the government is still very like openly, hey, please buy property. So else today, we will not have this like first home buyer scheme where you guys can even get 120% loan for a first time home buyer today, if any. I think some of you raise up your hand, right? So in other countries, you hardly see this thing at all. So for example, our neighbor, Singapore, 75% max margin of finance. They have to omit a 25% down payment. Whereas Malaysia, hey, I give you money, please buy, things like that. So that's point number one, right, to talk about cooling measure. Second one, if let's say today, I think foreigner, some of you, I think the question that you asked, foreigner buying property in Malaysia, back then I think before 2014 or 13, the minimum property entry price for those foreigner purchasing property in KL is not 1 million ringgit Malaysia. It's actually just 500,000 or things like that lah. But nowadays they're getting straighter and straighter, things like that. So of course, Selangor is 2 million. But were the government actually closing down or tighten up this guideline for foreigner? We are not sure. But as of today, at least 1 million ringgit Malaysia entry price, I don't think is that high. Eventually is SPA mah. But whatsoever the rebate and the discount, whatsoever that you guys, all the purchasing is totally different story. But to answer your question, were these cooling measures getting tighter or getting worse? So far I don't see it. In fact, if you see in the banking guideline itself, the bank itself in fact throw in a lot of different, or not say goodies lah, but Singaporean able to get 90%. I think you see already. If they want to tighten it, then I don't think Singaporean will be able to get 90 lah. That's for sure, it's 75 or 80%. Point number two here is that if you are buying a new property, especially under construction, right, the developer in a lot of sense, they bear the SPA and loan agreement, stamp duty, legal fees, disbursement, things like that. And I think you can see it also from the rebate or the discount point of view. If today, the developer still throwing you a 10%, 15%, and today you're able to get 90% loan, you also can cash out from that by buying a property. So financing wise, if you ask me today, I don't see the windows is tightening down lah. That's on my point of view. Yeah.
Sorry, I can just add. So I think that was essentially my point, right? I feel it's like a ticking time bomb, partly, if you're able to buy a house and cash out or get a discount. So are you really buying a house because you need a house, or are you buying a house because you want to, people buy a house to consolidate their debts, and all of that. So then it comes back to, is housing loan actually structured to do that?
You feel bad making money,
I have a conscience lah. I like to make money.
No, I just want to make sure also because I went through before. I went through this stage before. Okay.
Last point. The only thing that right now, right, I see it is that refinance cash out portion which happened this year lah. We used to be able to cash out based on whatsoever, max up to 30 or 35 years based on your today age or up to 70 years old. But a couple of months ago, Bank Negara Malaysia basically tightened down, your cash out portion is only 10 years. So they treat like the cash out portion is the same as what you want to use it for your personal loan. But again, personal loan, the effective interest rate here is that it's easily 7% to 10%. But today, if you cash out from property, even though it's the same loan tenure, 10 years, but effective housing loan interest is 3.8. So this is the only limitation when it comes to the banking guideline, if you ask me.
Got fourth point lah.
No lah.
My take, if you own more than 5 to 6 properties, right, in 10 years time you are a dinosaur already. Extinct. Okay? It was only 2018 where Singapore still allows 90% loan. So from there, look until now where if for a local who want to buy second property, you pay extra 10% ABSD. For a foreigner, you pay 60% extras. And that's cash. Means I want to buy 1 million CMBD. 1 million HDB, not CMBD. HDB, you need to pay 600,000 and you still cannot get. Your HDB is not for you. So it's that insane, but you look into the property market, it's still crazy one, right? Imagine without. Malaysia, last time I was in an era, that's why I used to have this conversation. I had a very big almost fight. I cannot fight with my mother lah, but I had a quarrel with her. Why didn't you work harder so I can come out earlier? Because that time got DIBS. When you buy property, then until construction you get your keys, so you don't have to pay anything. Developer interest bearing scheme, wonderful. Okay? Last time no 90%, 2 slots kind of thing one. All you can qualify. Wow. Last time RBGT, 0. Wow. And when I come in, right, everything starts falling like. I want to buy. Now we only announced 2 90% slot. Guess what? Will it be only 1 90% slot? And do you think that's going to stop people from buying? So now to a level, right, it's easier for me to find a person with more than 10 properties compared to 100 people with 1 property. So, because the new housing minister is almost a friend, so I got to be a little bit more careful because the team watches a lot of my stuff. He is heavily addressing this issue. So at least now there's a lot of effort in trying to eliminate the intention of investment for welfare products first, right? But because why? If you take away all developers and construction companies in Malaysia, right, left what? Petroleum money, and they are not making money. I don't know how they cannot make money, but right, you get what I mean? We are not a manufacturing country anymore, right? So how? Yeah. So if the nation suddenly now wants to push the market to develop further, what they do? Hey brother, this piece of land you want to build or not? Here got 5,000 acres you want to build? Here got 3,000 acres you want to build? Who want? Then when you inject that, they kickstarts the buying, highways come in, infrastructure come in, then you have all the workers to go to kopitiam and eat, then it flows down to the market. That's how capital is injected into the market in Malaysia, not the banking side of things. Yeah, so will you stop development in Malaysia? I don't think so. That's why we have the infrastructure company, solid one. We build highways like nobody's business, right? Maintaining different story, okay? Yeah. And so, from an investment point of view, like 4 years ago, it was way easier to invest than now. Refinancing, they slowly climb. Then last time, will it be only 1 90% slot? I think it will. So they want to stop people speculating. But they also want to encourage first-time home buyers to fall to the original intent. But now what they fail to understand is young people like now, I encourage them not to buy property. If you're 25, you got 0 capital, don't buy property, bro. Ironically, the other way. So, as an investor, then how do I react to it? I will just make the money lah. But I make it the right way lah. I make rich people's money lah. So if I buy this unit, I rent out to expats who live here and work, right? Thank you very much. I'll buy more. Then I will not touch all the affordable and welfare products. I just play my part in being a responsible capitalist. Then I can sleep. And when you reach a stage, it's very crazy one. So now, like for those who are here today in Sunday evening, waste 3 hours listening to 2-person here talk property. I always call you guys Otak Tak Center one. Because you guys care so much about building forward instead of just contemplating in life, right? Spending money, Christmas season, every more now, wonderful time, the most wonderful time of the year, right? Spend money, but you all sit here, right, trying to build towards the future. So if you have that kind of mindset already, protect it. Because otherwise, everybody is telling you different things just to get money out of you. You know what I mean? Don't property cannot make money bye. So how I play around this scenario is I only listen to people with the lifestyle that I want to have. If you got and you listen correctly, right? If you just think about all these naysayers about property investment, or never buy property before. Because once you buy property, right, you will love inflation. People who complain about inflation is people without property. Once you buy your property already, inflation projected 8%. Yes. Because it's going to be so much costlier to build the next one next to you. You get what I mean? And when inflation is 8%, how much we pay interest? 3.8. Indirectly, right? It's quite crazy to cash buy a property already. Think about it, I take 1 million from you, I buy a property, I make 6%, I pay you 3.8, my inflation is already just conservatively 5 to 6%. You see the math or not? Just need to self-sustain, that's about it for 30 years. Confirm win one, it's just a win about how much you need. But as common as it sounds, an iPhone 6 or a brand new Volvo sounds more sexier. So that kind of temptation everywhere got. So that's why now if you're having this kind of mindset already, right, please do protect it. There will be a gazillion kind of reasons for you to convince you otherwise. Yeah. Can sleep one, bro, can sleep one.
Can lah. Okay. I think,
Go on.
Yeah, let's have this as maybe like a last question. Yeah, last question for our talk here today.
Thank you for the sharing today. So what I want to ask, right, like out of so many like financial options that we have, for example, for like individual financial options, like we have the conventional one or like house key, what things that we need to consider when we choose one?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can put down a
Reina will do this.
You see, house key is today or this year house key is totally a different kind of animal compared to when we first have house key. I don't know this project got house key. Do you have? Got. Okay.
The agent behind say yes.
Okay. So you see, back then, house key, how it works is that you do not need to prove to this bank Harimau, I buy it for own stay, I'm staying in KL, I'm working in KL, I buy in KL. Okay? But right now, under this new version of house key, I mean, just refer here, this property is in KL. If today any one of you is working in JB, you want to buy KL under this house key, the house key PIC will kind of like either reject you or us as a house key banker, we kind of like need to mitigate. You have any loan document to prove that you are working or renting in KL at this moment. Hence wise, you are considering to buy this project under house key. So to bring you fast forward on today's situation.
So it's tightening really.
Yeah. So house key also from last time you got house key 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. I also cannot recall right now house key how many. What's the version already right now house key? I think the latest 5. Agents don't know. So today, if let's say you want to go for house key, but in terms of your loan document, you can't prove that you are working or renting or staying in KL because the property is in KL, is kind of hard for you to get under house key. Okay, but of course house key, the good thing here is that you have the options, at least for the next 3 to 5 years, whether you want to continuously own it as an owner, or you can have the options, you can refinance to another bank, or you can actually sell it back to Bank Harimau, for instance. Okay, conventional or normal, I think you are referring to a normal commercial bank, right? Okay, not conventional loan. Okay, so other than house key, if let's say you are talking about commercial benefit here is that, for example, all these banks, Sotong, RHB, things like that, highly depends on, I would say, what is your income profile? If today you are just a normal income employee, which means you are just earning a fixed salary, in a lot of situations, majority of the bank in Malaysia quite welcome you one. They want to have you as a customer to earn your interest. I don't know. Okay, so if today, if let's say you are a government servant, of course you want to go for Bank Harimau. If today, if let's say any one of you today are businessman, self-employed, then maybe Bank Sotong will be more suitable for you, or Bank Star will hitch. Okay, but if let's say today you are freelancer or commission earner, this is a little bit tricky. For example, our sales agent at the back, because you do not have any of the basic salary on a monthly basis. So you might want to consider the bank that, like different bank has got different appetite. Some fancy omakase, some like kopitiam, some like street food. So this is on your profile.
Why kopitiam? Look at me.
Kopitiam.
Why omakase cannot?
So when you go for the bank preference, you will have to know your own profile and the bank appetite. So of course, today's situation here is that it's quite hard. You can't memorize all the like 15, 16 bank in Malaysia to apply that. Hence why you can DM me, follow me, okay, and ask me. But putting back here is that it highly also depends on your income profile. Okay, so commission earner is back to commission earner is the one that tricky a little bit, because generally some of the bank, when it comes to income recognition, Maybe some just recognize 50%. Some can do up to 100%. So I'm talking about 50% gap. That's quite a fair bit. Okay? So that's on point number 2, which is income profile that will lead you to which bank that you should go for. But I think the most important here is that today, are you going as a first home buyer or are you going in as an investor? Which will lead to you will be able to get 90% loan, 100% loan, or is that just 70% loan? So all this will actually make it to the next one, which is the bank preference. I haven't touched on should you go for full flexi, semi-flexi, how to save interest, because different bank actually works differently. It's too long to cover it right now. Yeah, unless there's question to ask how to save interest.
You're buying new or buying subsale, bro? New lah. So new, to make it more complicated, right? You got panel bankers or your own preference bank. Yeah, so you working employee or own business?
Employee.
Then it's very direct one, bro. So unless you got income that people cannot see, they're very different. But the employment, new project, very simple one. And that you are the primary target for every developer in Malaysia. Everybody loves you now. They will treat you like, so when, okay, a trick that I use right? Got better rate
Eventually, I think majority will ask about what's the best rate, right? I think if the income itself can sustain.
So sometimes when banks come to you, right? Just ask one extra question. Can do better Can do better Can do better If got that bonus, cannot then never mind, sign only right? So that is like how you ask a little bit more. But yeah, also as an employee, like she said, very direct. For the other one, then a little bit more need to play about.
Tips for you, always negotiate for your interest rate with the banker. Always. If you can bring down 0.1% or 0.05, you should do it. The best rate right now, if your credit scoring is okay, you can get as low as 3.75 or 3.8%, just to let you know.
Yeah, golden nuggets, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And year end also, everybody fight target.
Yeah.
You don't want, I go next one, we can play the other way.
Okay, one last question here for our speakers. Okay.
Yeah, just now there was a lot of talk about short lots. Are there any good buys now, and what are the rental returns?
How much you got?
No, I'm just finding out.
Again, really, I'm not like challenging back. SS2 is about 16 million. DU 16 million per unit.
Was that
SS2,
how much?
SS2.
How much?
16.
1.6.
1.6. Oh.
1.6. Huh? How much return can you
get? I don't know. So it's either you rent out to tire shop, or you rent out to Bangsar.
No, I'm just asking on behalf of my friends and all that. I just want to find some information.
Again, it's very specific. That's why I don't talk a lot about shop lots in the channel.
I understand.
Like, which corner matters a lot. Which junction matters a lot. If you are the one facing Pasar Malam, very good Or you don't like it, different thing. Or you are the one on the durian behind side, then all your business all dodgy one, another different story. If you're the one next to New Way, different story. That's why it's very, very specific. It's not as general as condo. So why I cover more high rise is I just cover one unit, one project, right? A few thousand people can benefit. If I cover one shop lot, and that opportunity is like today only. You watch the video for what? By the time I finish the video, the deal no more already. Okay, so and just now when I say when you hang banner, it's already too late, right? Means the price is too high already. The owner is in selling mode, whatever I call. So they will have 8 to 15 different agents, banner over banner, banner over banner, banner over banner. So because they want to ask and demand for crazy price. The right way to do it, because I have a lot of agent friends who sell shop lot, right? The deal needs to be done as fast as possible. 2.2 today only. Wow, kanchong already. So my agent friend will just run around. Oh, last time you say 1.9, 2.2, he want to let go already. The one then tomorrow, I got a check already. No, today 2.3. Because owner at that rate can test water. I don't need to sell. Again, when you are not in the mood to sell, right? Very difficult. So if you can buy, then buy lah. If the money makes sense lah, right? And shop lot is one of the things where I think people really make money in capital appreciation. Just like if you cover like all the Kota Komling areas, right? All the first phase shop lot, they will show you they double in value within 10 years. But they didn't tell you how much they hold for bleeding. So actually, if you bleed 8 years, right, and your property double, you didn't make money. You didn't make money. All bleed back to the property. And then tenancy is a whole different story. You went out to kopitiam, different rate, banks, different rate. You want long tenant, secured for life, or you want kopitiam 2 years, change owner. That's why it's too dynamic already. That's why the question, Uncle, is very specific. And just some nuggets that I got from these owners. As an investor, do you buy things that confirm make money or potentially make money? Confirm make money, right? Only a person with capital can say things like this. 3.2 million, rental 30,000, can make money or not? Too late, now it's 3.3. Yeah, so you need to really get your math correctly, because I used to sell factories. It's even worse. Because that includes more illegal things I cannot see, right? The operations. They pay different rental rates. So they are also like, shop lots not so much on zoning and commercialization. Different business activities can take place. Now you have the green movement. If you do scrap metal, you cannot operate here. You do whatever, cannot operate here. Wow, leceh. Then all the scrap metal people, a lot of money, where they go? I know where, but cannot tell you. So because that's a zoning part when I think it's a mistake. The local authorities didn't see everybody there. So if you notice commercial lots or industrial lots, right? Single trade, all the same one. You do car one, all do car together one. It's for zoning. It's not really that all customers per person. Yeah. So these people buy assets that confirm make money or just break even and just hold. It's just another way to diversify or to store your cash in a different format.
Okay, thank you very much for the question as well. As we're approaching towards the end of this discussion, I think let's also do a little bit of closing here. Maybe let's hear from Rena and also from Iherng as well. Just maybe one key takeaway or one key message that, even though maybe some of you weren't here in an earlier session, maybe just one thing that they must know today if they were to walk out. What is one thing they need to know from you, Rena?
I mean, I'm not Sean. I don't have a 4 principles.
What kind of statement is that? I'm not Sean.
Like that. But for me, eventually is pricing. What are the price that you are purchasing today? No matter it's an investment or own stake. If today you enter at the price where the price itself is correct, and you do a little bit of research, you do your own study before you actually committed to that project itself, and if you're buying below the median PSF like I mentioned, things will never go wrong, two ways. So for me, the most important part is what are your median price, or what are the median price in this area? That's the first thing. You need to do some study itself in this area. And then if you're able to go in at below the median PSF of this area, I think in terms of pricing, you are quite right already. Second here is that always understand, unless today you want a cash buy, okay?
Wow.
If you are not, please at least know that how much of the loan that you were able to leverage with the bank. So in a sense, is how much is your loan eligibility. So point number 3 here is that how much of the savings or the capital that you are having today. And fourth one, that only you make an offer. So I got 4 steps, but the 4 steps is kind of different as your 4 principles.
So your competition.
Yeah.
You add one more, not so complicated.
No, that's for me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Rena. What about Iherng? Any key
I'll be
takeaway?
hanging out around still. If you have very private questions you don't want everybody to know, I'll be here. And subscribe to the channel. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give both of them a big round of applause.
Yeah.
And to all of you guys, like Chan mentioned, Sunday afternoon, you guys chose to be here rather than doing your Christmas shopping. Yeah. So thank you very much once again to all of you, to our speakers here today. This is definitely a very educational. You managed to learn anything or not? At least one thing, right? At least, right?
At
Yeah.
least one,
At least one thing lah. Okay. Yeah. So, by the way, if you want to learn more about our project Bangsar Hillpark, we do have our models and we have the show units here. Okay. Please feel free to approach any of this.